15 games that are a perfect 10 by 10 and must be on every gamer's playlist. These aren't just great games, they're the ones that redefine the boundaries of what gaming can be. Each of these titles has left a lasting impression on me, and I can't wait to share my thoughts with you. So buckle up, hit that like button, and let's jump into it. Kicking things off, we have Ghost of Tsushima, and trust me, this game is a visual masterpiece. I remember the first time I rode through the golden fields with the wind gently swaying the grass and the sun setting in the distance. It was breathtaking. The game beautifully captures the spirit of feudal Japan. But it's not just about looks. The combat system is so fluid and satisfying. Every sword fight feels like a duel straight out of a samurai movie. The way you can seamlessly switch between stances to take down different types of enemies, it just feels right. And the story of this game is just wow. Jin Sakai's journey from samurai to the ghost is one of the most compelling narratives I've experienced in a game. If you haven't played this one yet, you're missing out on something truly special. Next up, we set sail with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now, I'm a huge fan of the Assassin's Creed series, but Black Flag really stands out to me. It took the series in a bold new direction by focusing on naval combat and exploration, and I think that was a brilliant move. Sailing the open seas as Edward Kenway, I felt like I was living the ultimate pirate fantasy. There's something incredibly freeing about commanding your ship, the Jackdaw, and plundering enemy vessels. The game's open world is vast and teeming with life, and the story of Edward's transformation from pirate to assassin is engaging and well-paced. Black Flag is not just a great Assassin's Creed game, it's one of the best pirate games ever made. The Last of Us Part 1 is one of those rare games that transcends the medium. It's more than just a game, it's an emotional experience. I still remember the first time I played through Joel and Ellie's journey. It was intense, heartbreaking, and unforgettable. The post-apocalyptic world they navigate is bleak and unforgiving, but it's also filled with moments of hope and humanity. The relationship between Joel and Ellie is the heart of the game, and watching it evolve over the course of the story is truly something special. Naughty Dog nailed the pacing, the character development, and the emotional weight of the narrative. And the gameplay isn't just an afterthought, it's tense and challenging with a great balance between stealth and action. The Last of Us Part 1 is a masterpiece in every sense of the word, and it's a game that every gamer should experience at least once.
I got you. You ain't going nowhere.
Cyberpunk 2077 had one of the most controversial launches in gaming history, but once the dust settled, it became clear that this game is something truly special. Night City is one of the most vibrant and detailed worlds I've ever seen in a game. It's a place that feels alive with so many layers to explore. The game gives you an incredible amount of freedom in how you approach missions and build your character. The branching storylines are complex and offer meaningful choices that really impact the world around you. I know the game had its issues at launch, but the experience of diving into this dystopian future, meeting all these unique characters and shaping your own story is unforgettable. Cyberpunk 2077 is a game that will be remembered for a long time, not just for its rocky start, but for the incredible experience it offers once you get into it. If there's one game that defines what an open-world RPG should be, it's The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. Geralt of Rivia's journey across the war-torn lands of the continent is nothing short of epic. What I love most about this game is how alive the world feels. Every village, every forest, every city feels like it has its own stories, its own history. The side quests in this game are some of the best I've ever played. They're not just filler. They're meaningful stories in their own right. And the main story, it's one of the best I've ever experienced in a game. The characters are so well written, and the choices you make have real consequences. The combat is also incredibly satisfying with a mix of swordplay magic and alchemy that keeps things interesting. The Witcher 3 is a game I can lose myself in for hours, and I think it's one of the best RPGs ever made. Nathan Drake's final adventure in Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, is a fitting end to one of gaming's most beloved series. I've been a fan of the Uncharted games since the beginning, and A Thief's End takes everything that made the series great and dials it up to 11. The game is a visual masterpiece with some of the most stunning environments I've ever seen. The action sequences are exhilarating, and the story is deeply emotional, exploring Nathan's past and his relationship with his brother Sam. What I love most about this game is how it balances the high-octane action with quieter, more introspective moments. It's a game that knows when to slow down and let the characters breathe. The gameplay is as tight as ever with a great mix of combat exploration and puzzle solving. Uncharted 4 is a game that I'll always hold close to my heart, and it's a must-play for anyone who loves action-adventure games.
Please don't run anyone over. Sorry!
Working on it!
Hey, that was clean long.
They can wash it again!
Putting on the cape and cowl in Batman Arkham Knight is a dream come true for any Batman fan. Rocksteady Studios outdid themselves with this one, delivering a Gotham City that's more alive and detailed than ever before. The game's combat system is the best it's ever been, with fluid animations and a satisfying sense of impact. But what really blew me away was the Batmobile. I know it was divisive, but I loved it. Cruising through the streets of Gotham, chasing down criminals, and using the Batmobile in combat felt incredible. The story is also fantastic, with some truly shocking moments and a great exploration of Batman's psyche. The conclusion to the Arkham trilogy is everything I could have hoped for: dark, intense, and deeply satisfying. If you're a fan of The Dark Knight, Arkham Knight is a game you absolutely need to play. God of War Ragnarok is the kind of game that doesn't come around very often. It takes everything that made the 2018 reboot so great and expands on it in every way. The relationship between Kratos and Atreus is the heart of the game, and watching them grow as characters is incredibly rewarding. The game's combat is brutal and satisfying, with a wide variety of weapons and abilities that make every encounter feel fresh. But what really sets Ragnarok apart is its storytelling. The game weaves together Norse mythology with a deeply personal story about family, fate, and sacrifice. There are moments in this game that gave me chills, and others that nearly brought me to tears. Full of secrets to discover, and the attention to detail is astonishing. God of War Ragnarok is a masterpiece, and it's a game that everyone should experience. Days Gone is one of those games that really grew on me the more I played it. At first it might seem like just another zombie game, but there's so much more to it than that. The world is incredibly atmospheric, with its dense forests, abandoned towns, and dynamic weather. Riding through the Oregon wilderness on Deacon John's motorcycle, I felt a real sense of immersion. The game's story is surprisingly emotional, exploring themes of loss, survival, and redemption. And then there are the hordes. The first time I encountered one, I was terrified. The sheer number of enemies on screen at once is impressive, and taking them down requires careful planning and strategy. Days Gone might not have received as much attention as some other games on this list, but it's a hidden gem that I think deserves more love. If you're into open-world games with a strong narrative, give this one a shot. A Plague Tale: Innocence is one of the most unique and hauntingly beautiful games I've ever played. Set during the Black Death, the game tells the story of Amisha and her younger brother Hugo. As they try to survive in a world overrun by plague and war, the atmosphere in this game is incredible. The sense of dread and desperation is palpable. The way the game uses rats as both a narrative and gameplay element is brilliant. You'll need to use light to survive, as the swarms of rats can devour anything in their path. But beyond the gameplay, what really struck me was the story. The bond between Amisha and Hugo is the emotional core of the game, and watching their relationship develop as they face impossible odds is truly touching. A Plague Tale: Innocence is a game that will stay with you long after you've finished it.
It's past the mill, so let's go. Run! Lucas, this way!
Mark of the Ninja is a game that proves you don't need a massive budget to create something truly special. This indie title nails the stealth genre in a way that few other games have. The art style is sleek and stylish, with a focus on shadows and light that perfectly complements the gameplay. What I love most about Mark of the Ninja is the freedom it gives you. Every level can be approached in multiple ways, whether you want to silently take out every enemy or sneak by without being detected. The controls are incredibly smooth, making it a joy to play, and the story told through beautiful animations adds an extra layer of depth to the experience. Mark of the Ninja might not be as well known as some of the other games on this list, but it's a hidden gem that every fan of stealth games should play.
The main transformer should be nearby. Destroy that, and you'll bring down all the lights. For a time.
Quantic Dream's Detroit Become Human is one of the most ambitious, narrative-driven games I've ever played. Set in a near-future Detroit where androids are fighting for their freedom, the game is all about choices and consequences. What's so impressive about Detroit is how those choices genuinely impact the story. I've played through the game multiple times, and each playthrough feels different because of the decisions I made. The game's three main characters, Connor, Kara, and Marcus, are all incredibly well written, and their stories are deeply emotional and thought-provoking. The game tackles complex themes like identity, freedom, and what it means to be human, and it does so in a way that feels meaningful and impactful. Detroit Become Human is a game that challenges you to think and reflect, and it's an experience that I highly recommend. Combining parkour and zombie survival, Dying Light offers one of the most exhilarating experiences I've had in a game. The parkour system is incredibly fluid, allowing you to navigate the city of Heron with speed and agility. The day-night cycle adds a layer of tension as the infected become much more dangerous after dark. I remember the first time I got caught outside at night. It was terrifying, and I had to make a mad dash for safety. The game's combat is also top-notch, with a wide variety of weapons and a crafting system that lets you create some truly insane tools of destruction. But what really sets Dying Light apart is how it encourages you to think on your feet. Whether you're running from a horde of zombies or trying to take down a powerful enemy, the game constantly pushes you to adapt and survive. Dying Light is a must-play for fans of action and survival horror. Tomb Raider 2013 is a game that redefined one of gaming's most iconic characters. This reboot gave us a new, more vulnerable Lara Croft, and I think that was a brilliant move. The game's story of survival is gripping, and watching Lara transform from a scared young woman into a hardened survivor is incredibly satisfying. The gameplay strikes a great balance between exploration, puzzle solving, and combat making for an experience that feels both varied and cohesive. The environments are beautifully crafted and the game's pacing is spot on. There are moments of intense action, but also quieter, more introspective moments that allow the story and characters to breathe. Tomb Raider is a game that not only reintroduced Lara Croft to a new generation of gamers, but also set a new standard for action-adventure games. It's a must-play for fans of the genre. And finally, we have Red Dead Redemption 2, a game that is nothing short of a masterpiece. Rockstar Games crafted an epic tale of loyalty, betrayal, and survival in the dying days of the Wild West. I was blown away by the level of detail in this game. From the stunning environments to the complex characters, everything feels meticulously crafted. Arthur Morgan's story is one of the best I've ever experienced in a game. It's a slow burn, but that's what makes it so impactful. The game gives you time to get to know the characters, to care about them, and to understand their struggles. The open world is vast and full of things to do, but it never feels overwhelming. Every mission, every side quest feels meaningful. And the ending, I won't spoil it, but let's just say it's one of the most emotional and satisfying conclusions to a game I've ever seen. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a game that everyone should experience at least once. It's a true work of art. So whether you're into intense action, deep narratives, or immersive open worlds,